I want to thank everyone for your interest in this project and your comments. I do listen to your suggestions, and we'll get to that in a second. I've had to move into the shed, which is pretty short on space, so I can only work on one half of the camper at a time. Windows are all cut and our folding table is done. I found it was easier to cut the windows first, then trace the outline and cut the hole out. I used a rotary tool to bevel the edge. That took some time, but it was the easiest method I could come up with. Easy enough that I decided to make this a sliding window. I bought this trim, but it's a little heavy and doesn't stick very well, so I'll probably just use tub caulk in most places. Someone in the comments asked about my hinge, and yeah, that's kind of important, but I neglected to mention it. I'm using a 30-inch piano hinge, which is the only metal hinge in the build. I'll position two of my folding legs along the seam so I don't stress it too much. Now that everything is finally assembled, it's time to take it all apart and give it a finish. Generally, foamy campers are covered with a material called poor man's fiberglass. There are a ton of videos on that subject, so I won't go into it here. I'll leave a few links in the description. Some people don't like the finish. My issue is that I have too many hatches and windows and cup holders to work around. I did a ton of research into foamy campers, but also sealing foam props and cosplay videos looking for an alternative. Foam is notorious for not playing well with other materials. Spray paint will eat right through it, and I understand Bondo will also. So I took a chance on this stuff because it was cheap. It's a lightweight body filler from Valspar, USC 15310. It comes in two parts, which I guess makes it an epoxy resin. It leaves a nice hard coat and doesn't react with the foam. I was so impressed I ordered another gallon. I got mine at Walmart, but it's available from a lot of different places. Not sure what this symbol means, but I have a pretty good idea. After doing a bunch of tests, I decided on 2 to 3 coats of body filler inside and out, followed by a couple coats of Kills sealer. Once the foam is sealed and hardened, I can apply any material I like without it melting. So I'll give the exterior a coat of bed liner. That's something I considered before and rejected, but I came back around to it because of your comments. I found this, which doesn't contain any of the grit or tint. It's a little pricey, but I'll only be using it on the exterior. Everything here cleans up with soap and water, and that's a big bonus in my book. I'm really happy with this combination. It's pretty tough and adds a lot of rigidity with very little weight. It still has a bit of flex too, so it shouldn't crack. It would be a great way to harden and seal foam props, and I will definitely be using it again. Once the foam is treated, you can even use spray paints without having a chemical reaction. If you took your time, you can get an automotive quality finish. I'll sand the foam before I apply the body filler to open the cells and get a good bond. Once you mix in the hardener, it sets in a couple of minutes, so you have to work pretty fast. I'll make tiny batches and cover a small area at a time. 2 to 3 thin coats with sanding in between. Lots of sanding. Looks like I'm going to be at it for a while. I'm pretty motivated though. I really like the results, and I can't wait to get this dusty, smelly stuff out of my shed. That would make me a happy camper. I hope to be able to take you for a tour and test drive soon. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell if you'd like to be notified.